It's day 2 of the second round of Vandamonium, and 9 more drivers are itching to have their turn at the trail. I'm your host, 905.
And I'm Indy Rain. Last week, we saw Variat set the trail ablaze with the first perfect 33-point run. That vaulted him to the top of the leaderboard, where he's joined by a pair of V-dubs driven by Wiz and Brocan.
Tonight, the top seats in Mark D and N Count will see if they can keep pace with Variat.
Only the top 9 will move on to round 3, which means we will eliminate half the remaining cars at the end of this episode.
The road to round 3 starts right now as we introduce the first drivers up tonight in Group 4. Road Rage comes into tonight with 25 points and the top seed in his Disco Unlimited. He'll be taking on Laro, who's got 18 points from 409 Diecast, and they'll take on the most aptly named driver here, Iceman from Iceman Racing. He's got 17 points. Okay, fellas, time to shine like a disco ball. Let's go up to the top of the trail for race 1 of Group 4. Ooh, that's not the start these guys wanted. The gate drops and Lauro takes offense to the shininess of the Disco Unlimited and pushes him into the boards. Iceman thinks he's going to take advantage of the fact that Lauro and Disco Unlimited all scrub their speeds, but he gets a funny bounce off of the gap in the course from one of them packages that was left over from the shocks earlier and gets all squirrely as soon as he lands. He pegs it into the snowbank and that's him done. And did you see Road Rage peg it and absolutely stick it into the gap of the course up there? Holy smokes, he was seeing nothing but sky there for a second.
The start of races can be so important for these drivers, but as we've seen previously, you never know what's going to happen in the second and third race.
Yes, and that is what we came to see. What a fantastic run by all 3 of these drivers. The top half of the course are very disciplined drivers decide they're going to actually race and not crash into each other. They all get down over the jump very, very well, and it's Road Rage that actually takes the lead in front of Iceman and Lauro. He crosses the line first, but he's quickly followed by Iceman and Lauro, who also pick up 10 points. Road Rage gets that extra point for crossing the finish line first, though. So that 11 points is really going to start stacking up on his score, and you're going to see that reflected as soon as we get to the big board. Here's that lap at full speed. Kudos to the drivers for making that lap what it was. And if these drivers can make it stick and have a good third lap, I think it's going to position them well to make round 3.
What a fantastic run in lap 2 for all 3 of these drivers. Road Rage picks up the extra point for finishing first, but each driver takes away big points.
And it looks like Road Rage will not be denied by the Iceman. Iceman throws his transit in front of the Disco Unlimited, trying to block him from hitting that jump, but Road Rage just buries his foot in the floor and shrugs off the Iceman and throws him into Lauro. Road Rage then hits a beautiful line to the finish and collects another 11 points. The Iceman is not to be denied either, as he finds reverse gear and pulls himself backwards across the line for another 10 points. Lauro, unfortunately, is the collateral damage between that battle.
Both Iceman and Road Rage pull down huge points in their second round group. They tie on 27 points while Lauro takes 20.
I never saw this before, but 905 and 409 are kind of like the same, just different and less than 1.
Coming into round 2, Iceman and Lauro definitely needed the big points in order to stay alive in this tournament. And when we add their scores from round 2 to round 1, Iceman definitely delivered. Road Rage, on the other hand, comes up and ties Variat for top spot with that great run. But with those scores means we also start eliminating the competitors. And unfortunately for Sam Hall, Dr. Dodge, and Sloppy Bear, it's back to the chalet for moose burgers and hot chocolate.
And as we clear the course, let's introduce Group 5. Mark D from Cut Rocker in Australia leads us out with his 27-point Fandango. He'll be going up against Stray Dog from Team Kamikaze in his Baja Breaker, and they'll be taking on the newsman himself, Marcus Fireground from Snow Valley Racers in his Ford Transit news van. What headlines is this group going to create? Let's go up to the top of the trail for race 1 of Group 5. And this is the kind of racing we expected out of round 2. The gate drops and each of the drivers picks a different line towards the jump. Marcus hits that first as the Baja Breaker tries to get to him, but look at Mark D get up on 2 wheels. Look at this replay. He bounces, gets up on 2 wheels, and rescues it from going over or spinning out. Stray Dog, on the other hand, pole vaults himself over the hockey net there and across the line for a big win. That is full speed. And this is the shot from the cam where you see him absolutely destroy that hockey net. I want you guys to appreciate this lap in slow-mo because it was beautiful. Stray Dog may have picked up the extra point for finishing first, but Mark D and Marcus Farragon basically put everybody else on notice.
Whew, that was a epic first lap. All drivers take maximum points from that race. Let's see if they can keep the momentum going.
Call it nerves, excitement, or I don't know what, but the gate drops and Marcus Farragon throws his news van into the guardrail and gets all squirrely, while Stray Dog, I don't know what happened, he just goes for a real bouncy ride and rolls his way over the jump. Mark D, on the other hand, must have been driving out of the rearview mirror because he just inexplicably puts himself into the berm.
Momentum is a funny thing and it can swing in one way or the other. Lap 2 wasn't exactly what these guys had in mind, but let's go on to lap 3.
Mr. Dog, we do have the guys in the shop ready to take a look at that steering rack of yours.
And it's a drag race between Mark D and Marcus Firegon. Stray Dog clips Marcus Firegon just enough to let Mark D get a run onto him at the jump. Mark D's line is flawless, while Marcus does a little brake check on Stray Dog that puts him into the wall and up and over. The news van then does something I've never seen before. He does a perfect rubber toe over the finish line. We've seen that before at the jump, but this is the first time it's happened over the finish line, and he lands it on all 4 wheels. So kudos to Marcus Farragon for pulling that off.
Well, consider that a statement made. This group did not disappoint, and those scores are definitely going to shake up the leaderboard.
Mr. Dog, should I insert the joke about belly rubs now, or should I wait?
We knew Mark D's van was good. What we didn't know was that Marcus Farragon was going to create all the headlines himself with that epic flip at the finish line. And those big scores ended up shaking up this leaderboard something fierce. Mark D takes over the top spot from Variat as he puts up 55, while Marcus Farragon guarantees himself the spot in round 3 as his 44 keeps him out of danger zone. Stray Dog, on the other hand, has to wait to see whether or not his 41 is enough to make the cut.
The final round 2 group starts with Sneaky Bob and his Baja Breaker. He's on 20 points. He'll be racing the co-leader in End Count, who's got 27 points from Chase Family Racing, and hoping that she's got a snowball's chance in Cinder Foley from Spirit of 64 is looking to spoil somebody else's fun. Here we go. Let's do this. Round 2 concludes right now. Oh, that looks so promising for Cinder right up until the end. Cinder and Sneaky obviously had a game plan to go after Chase as soon as the gate dropped. They both snap in front of him trying to block him off, but then they get into each other as Chase throws the brakes. Cinder gets airborne after the jump, and that actually unsettles her, throws her in front of Sneaky Bob, who's like, see you later, and puts it across the line. Not before Chase, who gets a nice line down that right side and collects 11 points. Cinder, unfortunately, is the one that loses out in that whole interaction as she spins out just before the 9 line. Looks like the only fun she's spoiling is her own.
As the points continue to stack up, you know these drivers know the scores they need in order to make round 3. Let's go back up to the top of the trail and see what race 2 has in store.
Oh my goodness, and if it wasn't obvious before, watch what Sneaky Bob does to end count as soon as the gate drops. He rides him right into the boards. Like, that was so intentional. Tell me it's not intentional by telling me it's intentional. However, watch what end count does as Sneaky Bob's backwards across the jump. End count just drives around him. Cinder Foley then comes in to try another Van Assassination attempt, but completely misses as End Count kind of throws the brakes on again. End Count then just cruises across the line for another 11 points. Those ninja moves that End Count just pulled are so apt for the name of his van.
That was unfreaking believable to watch by End Count. He puts up another big score and he's en route for a perfect run.
And it looks like it's daggers for End Count as Cinder Foley finally finishes the job. Whoever paid her off, I don't know, but End Count had enough of his speed scrub that he puts it into the gap in the course. Sneaky Bob, on the other hand, comes across for a nice little 11-point addition to his score. So that begs the question, did Cinder Foley get paid off by Sneaky Bob? And did Sneaky Bob just sneak his way into the 3rd round?
That was an unbelievable finish to round 2. With these scores, I don't even want to speculate who's in the 3rd round.
Alright, Mr. End Count, make sure you got your park and brake on. We're going to flip you over. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
As the co-leader coming into round 2, End Count definitely needed to keep pace with Variat and Mark D from round 1. Sneaky Bob, on the other hand, needed to do something special to get his way into round 2, and look at that. Both of them did. End Count slots in behind Mark D with 54 points, and Sneaky Bob sneaks into the 5th spot, right behind Road Rage. Sadly, we have to say goodbye to Cinder Foley, and oh no! Wiz, who was top 3 last week, is now eliminated. Wow, talk about leaving it all out on the trail. If I was Wiz right now, I would be in shock.
Indeed, that's an understatement. For these drivers to step up like they did and claw as many points as they could out of the trail to climb up the leaderboard, only 3 points separating the top 4 drivers, and Wiz misses out by 1? Oh, he was a top 3 driver last week.
We just might need to rent some snowmakers, because if the vans keep this up next week, they're going to melt the trail down.
Oh, this competition is definitely on fire now, and round 3 is going to be like chucking a propane tank into a bonfire.
Of which we do not condone you doing at home. No, don't do that, kids. Bad things will happen.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Do, however, join us next week for the semifinals, as these 9 drivers will be whittled down to our top 3.
I've been your host, Indy Rain.
And I'm 905. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time. So who's your top 3?
Come on, you can't go wrong with Marty and Count and Variat. Not after tonight. Why? Who you got?
Yeah, those are safe picks, but remember what Puff did in the Supercars tournament? Yeah, I'm betting on another one of those.